Well, who is Israel's prime minister and why does he want to fail? That's the subtitle of a new e-book by two British journalists based here in Jerusalem called Psychobibi. Co-author Matt Rees spoke to IBA's Arieh about why the two writers believe Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is doomed.
When Benjamin Netanyahu was a young man, he had a very tough father, Ben-Sion, who was very demanding, and he had a brother, Yoni, who was really a golden boy, and his father really decided that Yoni was going to be the head of the army. He was going to be the prime minister, and a great prime minister, and he put all his eggs in that basket. But as many people know, Yoni was tragically killed at the final moment of the rescue in Entebbe, leading that for the Sayeret Matkal. And at that moment, suddenly, all this pressure was placed on Benjamin. Now, that had a very profound effect. Up to that point, he'd actually been a very warm, outgoing person. After that, he changed completely. What happened was, in our opinion, that suddenly he had all the pressure from his father. He needed to do what his father wanted, but at the same time was very resentful that his father hadn't picked him in the first place. And although he was driven to be, again, the prime minister, very successful, as his father wanted, he had to leave room for his brother to have been better, because he loved his brother more than anyone. And so he had to leave room for his brother to have been a better prime minister. Therefore, he had to be a bad prime minister. He was constantly self-defeating, and he's done that throughout his career.
So from what you're writing, it seems as if his third term is doomed.
Absolutely, and I think you can see it already. He's been very self-defeating in the election campaign from the moment when he got himself together with Avigdor Lieberman, who has, in a strange way, people who are close to him tell us, become a kind of surrogate for Yoni in a rather twisted way, because of course he's not a guy that you should really be allying with yourself or holding up as an idol. He's on trial for corruption, and then to the way in which he handled the challenge from the right. He pushed against the right when really the challenge was from Yair Lapid and the center. So he misread it. He's constantly thought of as this great strategist, but he's always making the wrong choice.
But his father died last year. Maybe this sets up the stage for him to be successful finally?
I had hoped so, but then in the coalition negotiations he showed again that he was operating not on the basis of policy, but on the basis of these profound dislikes that he produces for Naftali Bennett and things like that. Those kinds of things are very self-destructive. Now, I've put this theory to him. I've met him many, many times. On a couple of occasions, I've put this theory to him in a very, let's say, guarded way, in a way which would allow him to think about it and perhaps accept it. And on the occasions when I have, the great communicator has almost completely been unable to talk. He's started to lose the ability to make sense. He'll start using phrases which don't link together.
Really? So
actually I can see when I really put it to him in that way that it breaks him down because he knows it's true.
Well, let me ask you a question. I mean, from your analysis, it reads like a military intelligence sort of personality profile. Did you mean for it to be like that?
Yes, and also for it to be exciting in the way that news often isn't. And I'm not referring to your reports, Arieh, but the way in which news often takes something that's very exciting and turns it into something that's rather dry. We wanted this, much as our previous e-book, The Murder of Yasser Arafat, to be as exciting and compelling as the material it's about. So we made it almost like a psychological thriller where we're trying to track down the real Psychobibi.
Have you had any reaction from Netanyahu's office or his household at all?
One of his former aides has rather violently disagreed with our thesis, which leads me to believe it's obviously true.
So you have teamed together. This is your second e-book with Matthew Kalman, another long-time British journalist based here in Jerusalem. What's next? Can you tell us anything? I
can only hint a little bit that it's to do with Jesus and finding something real to do with Jesus.
That sounds fascinating. All right. Matt Rees, thanks for joining me, IBA.
Great to be with you.